Hey guys, today I'm going to read this book, the story of my experiments with food. So it is a book from Om Industries, I think so. Let me just check in a moment. Yeah, Om Books International. So today we are going to read this whole book. That's why it's a live stream. That makes sense. It's a live stream. So let's start. We are going to start with the instrument, with part one. Let me show you guys. Can you see it? Like this. Yeah, we are going to start with this birth and parentage. Let's go on to the page right now. Yeah, now let's start. Birth and parentage. The Gandhis belonged to the Bania castle and seem to have originally grosses, but from three generations. From my grandfather, they have been prime ministers in several Kathiawad states. Uttamchand Gandhi, Alice Ota Gandhi, my grandfather, must have been a man of principle. State intrigues compelled him to leave Porbandar, where he was Diwan, and to seek refuge in Jangar. There he saluted the Nawab with the left hand. Someone noticing the apparent discordy asked for an explanation, which was given thus. The rat hand is apparently pledged to Porbandar. Ota Gandhi married a second time, having lost his first wife. He had four sons by his first wife and two by his second wife. I do not think that in my childhood I ever felt or knew these sons of Ota Gandhi were not all of the same mother. The fifth of the six brothers was Karamchand Gandhi, alias Kaba Gandhi, and the sixth was Tulsidas Gandhi. Both of these brothers were prime ministers in Porbandar. One after the other, Kaba Gandhi was my father. He was a member of the Rajasthani court. It is now extinct, but in those days it was a very influential body for settling disputes between chiefs and their fellow classmen. He was from some time prime minister in Rajkot and then in Vanker. He was a pensioner of the Rajkot states when he died. Kaba Gandhi married four times in succession, having lost his wife each time by death. He had two daughters by his first and second wife marriages. His last wife, Putli Bai, bore him a daughter and three sons. I am being the youngest. My father was a lover of clan, truthful, brave, and generous by short tempered. To certain extent, he might have been given to carnal pleasuring, for he married for the fourth time when he was over 40. But he was incorruptible and had earned a name for strict impunity in his family, as well as outside. His loyalty to states was well known as assistant political agent, aka APA. Spoke to instructional of the Rajkot Thakur Sahib, his chief, and he stood up under and kept under detention for a few hours. But when the agent who saw that Kaba Gandhi was adamant, he ordered him to be released. My father never had obedient to accumulate riches and left us very little property. So in just a moment, I'll add some music. I just add it right now. Where is the audio capture? Let's just add it right now. Where is the oh yeah, okay, just a minute. I'm coming. Let's just add it right now. Where is the oh yeah, okay, just a minute. I'm coming. Let's just add it right now. Where is the oh yeah, okay, just a minute. I'm coming. Let's just add it right now. Where is the okay, so guys, I'm back and let's start the video again. Where was it? Yeah. He had no education, save that of experience at best. He might, he said, to have read up to the fifth Gujarati standard of history and geography. He was innocent, but his rich experience of particles affairs stood him in good stead in the solution of the most interesting questions. Okay, so guys, I'm back hundreds of let's start the video of religious training. He had very little. He had no, but he had that kind of that religious culture experience at wishes to his he might he said to have read up to the fifth Gujarati standard of the make available and geography. He was innocent in his last days. He began reading the experience of particles instead of in good state learned in the solution of the most interesting questions. Okay, so guys, let's start. And he used to train us. He had very little. He had no idea at the time just if the outstanding impression as he said to have read of the fifth Gujarati standard of the stream was available and geography. He would not think of his reading the experience of particles tends to to the Haveli learned in the solution of the most was really questions. Okay, so let's start. And he used to can go back. I do not remember her as he had no having at the time of this if the outstanding she would take the hardest work and keep them without having standard of the stream was available in geography. He would not think of his examination the experience of particles tends to in which they learned in the solution of the most was really questions. And he used to can go back. I do not remember her as having at the time of this if the outstanding she would make the hardest work and keep them without having standard of the stream was in geography. He would not think of his examination the experience of particles tends to in which they learn in the solution of the most was really questions. And he used to can I do not remember her as having at the time of this if the outstanding he would make the hardest work and keep them without having standard of history and geography using something of which experiencing the experience of taking the distance to the which still learn the solution of the most of facing the questions that is within the minds of and he using the sense I don't know whether you are using the as a of our feelings make the smartest to have them. Hello, can you guys hear me? Okay, so guys, sorry for late disturbance or something which might have gone behind. Okay, so this is now where was I? Yeah, yeah, I was in the next page. Ill when she was observing the Chandrayaan wove, but the illness was not allowed to interrupt the observation. To keep 2 or 3 consecutions fast was nothing to her. Living on a meal a day during Chaturmas was a habit with her. No content with that, she fasted every alternate day during one Chaturmas. During another Chaturmas, she vowed not to have food without seeing the sun. We children on those days would stand staring at the sky waiting to announce the appearance of the sun to our mother. Everyone knows that at the height of the rainy season, the sun often does not constance to show his face. And I remember days when, at his sudden appear, we would rush in to announce her. She would run out to see with her own eyes. But that, by that time, the forgiven sun would be gone, thus depriving her meal of her meal. That does not matter. She would say cheerfully, God did not want me to eat today. And then she would return to her round of duties. My mother had strong common sense. She was very informed about all matters of state, and ladies of the court thought highly of her intelligence. Often I would accompany her exercising the privilege of childhood, and I still remember many lively discussions she had with her widowed mother of the Thakur Sahib. Of these parents, I was born at Porbandar, otherwise known as Sudampuri, on the 2nd of October 1869. Passed my childhood in Porbandar. I recollected having been put to school, it was with some difficulty that I had gone through. The multiplication tables, the fact that I recollected nothing more than those days that having learnt in company with other boys to are called teachers. All kinds of names would strongly suggest that my intelligence must have been sluggish and memory raw. Okay, so before we continue, I was just going to tell you guys to subscribe down below if you haven't still yet. That I recollected nothing more. Yes. So now, guys, this is what I'm meant to do. I am going to read the next chapter in just a few moments, and let me just change this. So now you guys can see the full live stream. Let me just make it appear. Yeah. Okay, just a minute. Let me change the outlook. I will just do something. Okay, so now I changed the layout. You guys can see my live chat is now new. Now let's start with reading chapter number 2. Just a minute, let me drink water. Just sitting here and like doing, sorry, just doing, reading this whole book, which has near about 75 chapters, might take like a lot of hours. So I don't know, but let's see, it might take 5 or 6 hours. But let's continue. Number 2, chapter 2, childhood. I must have been about 7 when my father left Porbandar from Rajkot to become a member of the Rajasthanic court. There I was put in a primary school and I can well recollect those days, including the names and other particular of the teachers who taught me as at Pobandar. So here there is hardly anything to note about my studies. I could only be mediarized students from this school. I went to Sabran school and thence to the high school. Having already reached my 25th year, I do not remember having even told a lie during the short periods, either to my teachers or to my schoolmates. I used to be very shy and avoided all company. My books and lessons were my sole companions to be at school. At the stroke of an hour, and I run back as home soon as the school closed. That was my daily habit. I literally ran back because I could not bear to talk anyone. I was even afraid lest anyone spoke fun at me. There is an incident which occurred at the examination during my first year at high school and which is worth recording. Mr. Gills, the education inspector, had came on a visit of inspection. He had set us 5 words to write as a spelling exercise. One of the words was kettle. I misspelled it. The teacher tried to prompt me with the point of his boots. but I would not be prompt. It was beyond me to see that he wanted me to copy the spelling from my neighbor's slate. For I thought that the teacher was there to supervise us against copying. The result was that all boys except myself were found to have spelled every word correctly. Only I had been stupid. The teacher tried later to bring the stupidity home to me, but without effect. I never could learn the art of copying. Yet the incidents did not in the least diminish my respect of for my teacher. I was by nature binding to faults of elders. Later I came to know that the teacher to know of many other failing of these teachers, but my regards for him remained the same. For I had learned to carry out the orders of elders, not to scan their actions. Two other incidents belonging to the same period have always clung to my memory. As a rule, I had distaste for any reading. Beyond my school books, the daily lessons had to be done because I disliked them taken to my teacher. As much as I disliked deceiving them, therefore the I would do the lessons, but therefore without deceiving my mind in them. Thus, when even in the lessons could not be done properly, there was of course no questions of any extra readings. But somehow my eyes fell on a book purchased by my father. It was Shravana Pritaba Natak, a play about Shravana's devotion to his parents. I read it with instant interest. There came to our place about the same entrance showman. One of the pictures I was shown of was of Shavana carrying by the meanings of slings fitted for his shoulders. His blind parents are on a pil- pilgrim- pilgrimage. The book and the picture left an incredible impression on my mind. Here is an example for left a indicible impression on my mind. Here's an example for you to copy. I said myself. The agonist lament for his parents over Shavrana's death is still fresh in my memory. That melting tune moved me deeply, and I played in concentration with which my father had purchased for me. There was a similar incident connected with another play. Just about this time, I had secured my father's permission to play performed by certain dramatic company. This play, Harish Chandra, captured my heart. I would never be tried to seeing it, but how often should I permit to go? It haunted me, and I must have acted Harish Chandra to myself times without number. Why should not all these truthful like Harish Chandra was the question I asked myself day and night. To follow truth and to go through all the ordinals Harish Chandra went through was the one ideal it inspired in me. I literally believed in the story of Harish Chandra. The thought of it all made me my weep. My common sense tells me today that Harishchandra could not be a historical character. Where is it? Yeah. Historical character. Still, both Harishchandra and Shravana are living relatives for me, and make I am sure I would be moved as before I were to read those play again. Okay, so guys, I finished chapter 2, you guys can see, and I'm going to go to chapter 3. But I'll just take some time, okay? I'm coming on a minute. Okay, so guys, I'm back, and let's start reading with the chapter. Child Marriage, Chapter 3. Much as I wish that I had not to write this chapter, I know that I shall have to swallow many other such bitter draughts in the course of this narrative, and I could not otherwise. If I claim to be a worship of truth, it is my painful duty to have to record here my marriage at the age of 13. As I see youngsters of the same age about me who are under my care, and I think of my own marriage, I incite to pity myself and congratulate them on and congratulate them on having escaped my lot. I can see no moral argument in the support of such proposal early marriage. Let them read, make no mistake. I was married no betrothed, for in Khatiwad there were two distinct rites, betrothal and marriage. Betrothal is. Okay, just a minute. Okay, so guys, let me just add some music for you guys. Okay, so guys, this is what I'll do. I'm going to add a song behind it so you guys can listen to it. Okay, let's do it.
people say they know about our hustle, but believe me, this is no regular job. You know about that early start? Not that one. The start before that early start. You sat for an exam? Add a cat to the mix, due tomorrow. Plus a part time job for those student loans. Now we're talking about a hustle. Don't forget about that side hustle that you hope will one day be your main hustle. So, to stay focused through it all, we need the perfect cup to fuel winning in life. Try Nescafe 3 in 1.
At Panadol, we understand how pain can feel. We know
Okay,
that
so
after
guys,
it's
now
gone,
you will hear
the heights will be higher,
perfect music behind.
the bonds stronger, the joy
Okay,
greater,
so
the
let's start.
creative more creative, the curious more curious, and the
My
loved
marriage at the
even
age
more
of
loved.
13.
We know that as the pain goes, together we shine brighter.
Okay, I was in the next nine. So let's start again. Yeah. Let the reader make one no mistake. I was married no Vitor or Khatiwad. There were two distinct rights, betrothal and marriage. Betrothal is the premier promise on the part of the parents of the boy and girl to join them in marriage. And it is not inevitable. The death of the boy entails no widowhood of the girl. It is agreement purely between the parents and the children have no concern with it. Often they do not are not even informed of it. It appears that I was betrothed thrice, thought without my knowledge. I was told that I was told that two girls chosen that me had died in turn, and therefore I inferred that I was betrothed 3 times. I have faint in recollection, however, that the third betrayal took place in my 7th year. But I do not recollect having been informed about it. In the present chapter, I was talking about my marriage, of which I have the clearest recollection. It was to be remembered that we were three brothers. The first was already married. The third was just a minute. Yeah. Okay, so guys, now we can continue with the chapter. It will be remembered that there were three brothers. The first one was already married. The other elders decided to marry my second brother, who was 2 or 3 years my senior. A cousin, possibly a year older and me, all at the same time in doing as there was no thought of our welfare, much less our wishes. It was purely a question of their own convenience and economy. Marriage among Hindus is no simple matter. The parents of the bride and the bridegroom often bring themselves to ruin over it. They waste their substance. They waste their time. Mouths are taken over the preparation. In making clothes and ornaments and in preparing budgets for dinner. Each tries to outdo the other in number of variety of courses to be prepared. Women, whether they have a voice or no, single themselves, hoarse, or even get ill and disturbs the peace of their neighbors. These, in their turn, qui- quietly, I think. Just a minute. Yeah, so now you guys can see me, and I'm going to also keep the book so you guys can see that I'm reading the book. Yeah. Horse even get these are in their turn quietly put up with all the turmoils and bustles, all the dirty and filthy representing the remains of their feast, because they know that time will come when they also will be behaving in the same manner. It would be better that it my elders to have all his brother over at me, and the same time less expenses and greater eclat for over at one and the same time. I meant money could be freely spent if it had only to be spent once instead thrice. My father and my uncle were both old, and we were the last children they had to marry. It is likely that they wanted to have the least last best time of their life. In view of all these, oh my God, yeah, in view of all these, wait, I just forgot. Yeah, in view of all these considerations, triple wedding and decides upon, and as I have said before, months were taken up in the preparation for it. It was only thought these preparations that we got warnings of the upcoming event. I do not think it meant to be to me anything more than the prospect of good clothes to wear. Drum beating marriage desire came later. I proposed to draw the curtains over my shame, except for a few details worth recording. These I shall come later, but even they have little to do with certain ideas. I have kept these before me in the story writing. So my brother and I were both taken to Porbandar from Rajkot. There were some amusing details of preliminaries to the final drama, e.g., smearing our bodies all over the turmeric paste, but I must omit them. Yep, omit them. Means you should just vomit. I can just say that aloud right now. So it might be like, understand? Hello. Just a minute, guys, I'm coming. Okay, guys, I'm back. And so let's start reading the chapter. There are some amusing details of preliminaries to the final drama, e.g., smearing our bodies all over the stomach with turmeric paste, but I must omit them. My father was a divan, but nevertheless a servant, and all the more so because he was in favor with the Thakur Sahab. The latter would not let him go until the last moment, and when he did so, he ordered a further special stagecoach couches, reducing journey by 2 days. But the fates that will wither otherwise Porbandar is 120 miles far from Rajkot. A cart journey for 5 days. My father did the distance in three, but the coach developed over in the third stage. The sustained several injuries. He arrived bandaged all over both his and interest. In the upcoming event was half destroyed, but ceremony had to be gone through for how could the marriage dates the childish amusement of the wedding. So this chapter is done. Just a minute, let me go back again. I've entered the second chapter. Yeah. So now you guys can see here is the finishing over here. I finished over here, and now we are going to read the second last one, playing with husband. So now this is just the last one which I'm going to read. Then we are done, and yeah, and the live stream will be over. So let's start. Ah, my tongue, it really hurts. I'll just take some time, okay? Yes, I'm ready. So let's start. Playing with the husband. About the time of my marriage, little was costing a piece of or a pie. I now forgot how much. Kind of. Used to be issued in the origin conjugal love, thrived, child marriages, and other such subjects were discussed whenever I came across any of these. I used to go through them from cover to cover, and it was a habit with me to forget what did I did not like and to carry out the practice whenever I liked lifelong faithfulness to the wife. In, in calculating in these booklets, heart for uh, For, furthermore, in the passion of truth, truth was innate in me. There's some kind of hard words, so I can't understand it. Just a minute, let me do something. Just a minute. Okay, so now it's written there. There are some hard words, so please don't mind me. And we can get to 10 likes. I'll upload another video, or I'll just do a live stream, and you guys all should come. Okay, so let's start with the second paragraph. The lesson of faithfulness to my wife, she would also be pledged to be faithful to me. I said to myself, the thought made me a jealous husband. Her duty was easily converted into my right to extract faithfulness from her. And if it had to be exactly, I should be watchful, tenacious for of the right. I was absolutely no reason to suspect my wife's fidelity, but jealousy does not wait for a reason. I must need to be forever, forever on her lookout regarding her movements. Understand? And therefore she could not go anywhere without my permission. This sowed the seeds of bitter quarrel between us. The restraint was virtual a sort of imprisonment, and Kasturbai was not a girl to brook any of such thing. She made it a point to go out whenever or and wherever she liked. More resistance on my part resulted in more liberty being taken by her, and in my getting more and more cross. Refusal to speak to another thus became the order of the day with us. Married child, I think it was quite innocent of Kasturbai to have those liberties with my restriction. How could a guileless girl brook any restraint to go to the temple or to go on visits to friends? If I had the right to impose restrictions on her, had she not also a similar right? All this is clear to me today, but at the time I had to be have to make good authority as a husband. Let not take the reader think, however, that ours was a life of unrivaled bitterness. Okay, so now I'm almost done. I can just show you where I am. Uh, I mentioned. Now I'm going to start with the next chapter. I meant to say the next page I have mentioned. So after this paragraph, I am done. And I won't read the fifth one, I'll read it in the next live stream. So yeah, let's start. I have mentioned one circumstance that more or less saved me from disasters of lustful love. There is no worth noting numerous examples that have convinced me that God ultimately saves him whose motive is pure. Along with cruel custom of child marriage, Hindu society has another custom with which to a certain extent diminish the evils of the former. Parents do not allow young couples to stay long together. The child wife spends more than half her time at the father's place. Such was the case with us. Oh my god. Just a minute. I am ready. Uh, just a minute. I was thinking of something else. Yeah. So let's start. I mentioned one circumstance that more or less saved me Nah, what am I reading? Oh no, I forgot that I was reading this paragraph over here on that half of it over here. That is to say that during the 5 years of our married life, from the age of 13 to 18, we could not have lived together longer than a period of 3 years. We would hardly have spent 6 months together. Then there would be a call to my wife from her parents, such as calls were very unwelcome in those days. But they saved us both. At the age of 18, I went to England, and this meant a long, healthy spell of separation even from my return from England. We hardly stayed together longer than 6 months, for I had run up and down between Rajkot and Bombay. Then came the call from South Africa, and that found from me already fairly free from the carnal appetite. Okay, I'm done reading this book. Yay! So, and thank you guys for watching my live